Okay, wanted to talk a little bit about the concept of sitting in with people at the open stage. What, how do you make it happen if you want to do it? What's sort of the etiquette that surrounds it? What do you do if someone wants to do it? What do you do if someone just up and does it? Like how do you handle all these kind of situations? I talked about this a little bit in my sort of unwritten rules open stage diary, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper into this one. So, to be honest, this is not something that happens a whole heck of a lot at open stages, as we know from my other video. The difference between an open stage and a jam, one of the differences is that an open stage, it's you come there kind of with an expectation. I'm going to get a slot. I'm going to do something I prepared. This stage is all yours, and you're going to do your thing for 15 minutes. And there's not an expectation of spontaneity or collaboration that is necessarily part of that bargain. That said, sometimes there is some crossover between those communities, and sometimes, especially if the particular culture of a particular open stage is one which kind of encourages or invites that people could do that, or that they're all kind of we're among friends, we all kind of know each other. It's a lot of regulars. We all kind of got to know each other's songs. There's already some of that's kind of organically happening in the corners. Hey, you go. Do you think you could come up and play a little harmonica on this song of mine that you've heard before? That kind of thing goes on. Then you'll see kind of a loosening of that standard, and sometimes you'll see some kind of floater players. So someone whose goal is not to go and play their own 15 minutes, but really what they're hoping to do is go play bass with somebody at the open stage. That's where you kind of get into this crossover of that is a little more like a jam. They don't think it's going to be a jam, but they also think that there's going to be opportunities to get up and, in essence, jam with somebody or jam along to your song or something like that. And that's something that, while rare, is real, and that you need to, some people really welcome that, and some people, that is the last thing they want, is to either have to say no or have to tell somebody who has just started playing with them to please stop. So what's the deal? When is it okay? When is it not okay? The most obvious rule of the road here is, communicate, ask. Like, it's at an open stage, it is the person whose name is on the slot. It's their slot. Stage is all theirs. It's up to them whether or not there's going to be people playing along with them. And so you really need to kind of clear it with them, ideally beforehand, or at the very least, with some sort of, if it was something that you didn't know what was happening, but hey, they're playing your favorite song or whatever. Whatever the case may be. I'll give you an example of mine. So, a friend of mine who hosts an open stage, I didn't know he was going to cover this particular song that we both had recently been talking about how we love this song. He starts playing it. I've got a cajon. I kind of gesture, hey, can I? And he nods yes, and away we go. That's the kind of situation where that was kind of organic. We both are comfortable with each other. I didn't clear it with him beforehand because I didn't know what was going to happen. It's kind of a one-off. I'm trying not to impose, and I'm giving him the opportunity to say no where it's not on him. And if he had given me that, I would just back off and apologize later for creating any kind of distraction whatsoever. What recently happened to me, which is not how that should go, is I was at an open stage, a new open stage for me, and I was, just getting up. I was already up there playing my songs, which are my originals, and also, if you're not familiar with my originals, are a little bit unusual. And they're not just 1-4-5. They're not just they're like any other song, and you can just kind of hear it and use the simplest of simplest of tool sets to play along. it's a little weird. My chords are a little weird. It's hard to read my hands. Um, I'm an odd duck, and you shouldn't necessarily try to line up with me unless we've kind of got an understanding with each other. But nonetheless, a bass player just sort of brought his stuff up on stage, set it up, and just started playing along. Now, it would have been amazing if he just started playing along and he was it was as if we'd worked it out beforehand, but it was not like that. He stumbled. He's hunting and pecking and discovering that it's not easy, and he didn't know my songs beforehand. He just was going to play like he owned the joint. Play like that's what we do here is we get up and we play with whoever's up there. To me, that was not okay, and I tried to handle it gracefully and kind of go with the flow. I tried to tell him, I tried to call out the changes. But again, that's putting a burden on me. Like, I didn't ask for this, and I don't really want to call out the changes. Now, I'm a seasoned player. I've had to do that before. I've had to do that with people who I wanted to come sit in with me, and I understand why they're struggling, and I'm giving them some help to do something that I asked them to be here doing that I know is difficult. Um, I could also tell, he was not a seasoned player and didn't really have the skill set to do much if I could at least get him onto the roots, but he just was kind of dead set on doing his own thing. Ultimately, that was I felt a faux pas. That was not really okay with me. Certainly would not have been okay with a less seasoned player. Could have been really distracting to them. Could have made them start messing up their own song that they came out here to try to do, like ruining their moment. If I had been hosting in that moment, it would have been obvious to me, like this is not something where they've worked this out. That has happened one time that I can recall during the time I hosted. During all the years I've hosted, I can think of one time where someone just felt like they could play along, and I had to I could see it was causing that it wasn't welcome. I could see that it was causing some consternation, and I put an end to it as politely but directly as I could. So that is not how to handle it, but also, a prescription for how to handle it. Here's another one that's kind of related is you're off in when I was on my most recent Denver open stage tour, at one of the places that I was playing, a harmonica player who had been in one of the earlier acts, just felt moved. And from his seat, 20 feet away from me, just started playing along with one of my songs. Now, to his credit, what he was doing fit. Like, he didn't embarrass himself, and he didn't derail the song by hunting around to try to figure out what I was doing and making a little experiment out of it. Like, he walked the walk well enough. What he was doing was musical, it was tasteful, it was appropriate musically, but it was also unasked for and not cleared with me. So again, I chose to be graceful and just kind of let it go, let it happen. But I would say that as a rule, that's again kind of don't presume to play along with other people. You got to get some kind of clearance from the player up whose time it is. It just absolutely must, in some sense, clear it with them. With one exception. And this, it almost never happens for me, but it did happen also on my Denver Open Stage tour, and it was kind of a weird, magical moment for me, which is, the one exception is, the audience is always free, if moved, to sing along. People are always free to sing along. People are always free, if moved, to clap, to clap in time. That is something that we just accept that audiences have the prerogative to do. I almost never have anybody sing along with my songs because they're original songs that no one in that audience has heard before. And as I've been repeatedly told, I'm difficult to understand to begin with. But I was singing my song Surrender at the last place that I played in Denver before coming home. And lo and behold, this woman started singing along, and she she was doing a good job, and she knew it. It's like she knew the song. So that was kind of great, and that was okay. It's okay to sing along. It's okay to clap along. Those we kind of accept are the prerogative of the audience to do. Still, probably if you're a musician, only do it if you're doing a good job of it. But yeah, you can do that. But otherwise, you got to clear it. Hope that all makes sense. It probably didn't need to take 10 minutes to make that point, but whatever. Hopefully it was interesting, and those anecdotes give you something to think about. And until next time.